The Pokeball Plus is an optional accessory you can buy alongside the latest Pokemon games Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. This accessory has received a lot of mixed reactions from fans, because someone at Game Freak thought it would be a good idea to make buying this thing the only way to get one of the franchise's most beloved Pokemon, Mew. Yup! If for some reason you hadn't heard, buying the Pokeball Plus is currently the only way to get Mew in Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. And just to get this out of the way, no, Mew is not transferable from Pokemon Go, which I think is a huge blunder on their part. I imagine Pokemon Go would have received a lot of new players if they were required to get Mew by playing their game. It's really unfortunate because otherwise I've really enjoyed using the Pokeball Plus. I understand why everybody looks at it in such a negative light though. Locking Mew behind a paywall was a terrible choice, and I hope they allow other ways to receive it in the future. Thankfully, you don't need Mew, Meltan, or Melmetal to be registered in your Pokédex to complete it. So if you were concerned that you would have to shell out $50 just to get the shiny charm, you don't. But even with that, I personally think the accessory itself is worth the $50. That's because I benefit from everything it has to offer. In this video, I'm going to do my best to break down everything I use the Pokeball Plus for, and perhaps change your mind on it simply being a $50 Mew. For those that didn't know, the Pokeball Plus is also a controller. I'm going to be honest and say that it isn't a replacement for Joy-Cons. However, I do believe it has its use as a controller. Something the Pokeball Plus does better than the Joy-Cons is catch Pokemon. Myself and a lot of others that have been using the Pokeball Plus have noticed that it is a lot more accurate at landing balls on wild Pokemon. I've had very few misses that I can blame on the hardware. Whenever I miss, I know that I threw the ball incorrectly, whereas with the Joy-Cons, sometimes it just throws the ball in the complete wrong direction. The Pokeball Plus is very comfortable to hold, but it's constantly pressing the middle button that gets exhausting. So personally, I use the Pokeball Plus to just chain Pokemon. Like I said, it's more accurate, so you have less of a chance to fail and break your chain. And since you won't be reading much dialogue, the middle button pressing is at a minimum. If you play through the storyline with the Pokeball Plus, you're going to be limiting the amount you can do. There's only 2 buttons, a third if you count shaking the ball as one, which the game actually does. If you shake the ball, it functions as the Y button. Having only 3 buttons is frustrating because you have to take the long way around for everything. You can't use shortcuts, which sucks. Personally, for the storyline, I would recommend using the Joy-Cons. But since the heaviest focus of this game is catching Pokemon, the Pokeball Plus won't be going to waste. I've spent hours using the Pokeball Plus to catch Pokemon. It's the most fun and least frustrating way. Joy-Cons and Pro controllers are typically sold at $70, so straight off the bat I think this is good value from a controller standpoint alone. If all the Pokeball Plus had to offer was that it was a controller, I think a reasonable price would have been $30. But there's more to it than that. And I think this is where it loses people. The Pokeball Plus allows you to take your Pokemon from Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee out on a stroll, just like the Pokewalker you got in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Doing this gives you in-game benefits. Depending on how much you walk, the more benefits you get. This is a really useful feature for me because I love going out on long walks, so it feels good to come home and see I made progress in game. But it doesn't stop there. The Pokeball Plus can also be used with Pokemon Go, as a replacement for the Pokemon Go Plus. Now, I understand a lot of you don't play Pokemon Go anymore, so this next section might not mean much to you. But hopefully you can see that the Pokeball Plus has many uses. The Pokemon Go Plus was a watch-like accessory that would attempt to catch Pokemon or spin a Pokestop for you with one simple press of a button. This made it so players could play Pokemon Go without constantly looking down at their phone. It's a very useful accessory, and most people I know that play Pokemon Go regularly has one. This is where the Pokeball Plus comes in. It does everything the Pokemon Go Plus does, and more, as the Pokeball Plus will automatically spin Pokestops for you. For me, this is a must-have. Personally, I'm very forgetful, so I forget to spin Pokestops regularly, which has resulted in me running out of Pokeballs. I went out earlier today with 50 Pokeballs and I came home with an extra 300, and that was with me using them regularly throughout the day. Automatic Pokestop spinning may not sound like a huge deal, but it makes a world of a difference. The only downside to the Pokeball Plus is the size. It is small for a controller, But for an accessory that you're supposed to carry around with you and press the button of to catch Pokemon, it just isn't as conveniently sized as the Pokemon Go Plus. For me, this isn't an issue because I don't use the capture feature the Pokeball Plus provides, so I can just put the Pokeball Plus into my pocket or my bag and let it spin Pokestops for me as I walk. This has completely replaced my Pokemon Go Plus, which, again, is more value for money for me. The Pokemon Go Plus sells for about $35 to $40, which is only $10 to $15 less than the Pokeball Plus. So to me, it's a no-brainer that the Pokeball Plus is worth the money. It's a controller, a Pokewalker, and a Pokemon Go Plus built into one device. Nearing the end of this review, I wanted to add that if you press both buttons on the Pokeball Plus at the same time, it will mute the device. This is good for anyone who gets sick of hearing the sound effects. And from my understanding, this also turns off automatic spinning of Pokestops. So if that's a feature you somehow didn't want to take advantage of, you're able to turn it off. To end off this review, I just wanted to say that I understand the Pokeball Plus isn't for everyone. Unless you're like me and you plan on making use of these features, I'd say at that point if you were to buy one, it very well might be a waste of money, for you personally, and that's okay. Hopefully this video allowed you to see why I believe the Pokeball Plus is in fact worth the $50 price tag. I personally hope they allow the Pokeball Plus to be used more in future Pokemon titles, but I guess only time will tell. Maybe next time they'll actually allow the device to speak for itself, rather than slapping an exclusive Mew on it and hoping people will buy it. If you learned something, enjoyed hearing me talk, or just want to support me, a like on the video would be greatly appreciated. I have an entire playthrough of Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, along with a bunch of other guide videos, so if you want to watch that, I'll leave a link to the playlist in the description. Thank you so much for watching, I'll catch you in the next video.